Hi, this is Abby Branker, and I'm here with Alan Kudan.
Hello.
And we're from the Lunatics Radio Hour podcast.
You're listening to Jollyville Radio.
Right here on KJVR.
Hey, this is UncleASAR from Jollyville Community Beat, and you're listening to KJVR Jollyville Radio. We're breaking from the regular formatted episodes in the month of December, but dig it, to fill the void in the Jollyville universe, Jollyverse as it were, we're bringing you 4 bonus episodes and a winter fantasy broadcast during that time. First up on Average Size Desk Concerts, I'm kicking it with Jollyville Radio podcast creator Michael Crosa about the music of Jollyville Radio. So stay tuned to KJVR Jollyville Radio. It's like candy to your ears, baby. Michael Crosa, the maestro. So we'll talk about
74% sure of that.
So tell us, why did you start the Jollyville Radio podcast?
Yeah, man. There's a couple different ways to answer that. I mean, I think the long answer is that we had a little band going called Jollyville Brass Quintet that during quarantine we had to shut that down, and that same energy evolved into this. But really, I think all of it boils down to is, man, I just needed a creative outlet. I wanted to create something that put beauty out in the world, and I think this is a way to do that.
Okay.
And it's been a great way to maintain community while in quarantine and all that too.
And you actually created all the sounds or the themes for the podcast.
Yeah. So it's pretty much all. I mean, it's all most of it actually. Now that I think about it, just like GarageBand. It's loops. It's a lot of mix and matching. It's fun to do. A lot of it, or some of it also Monsi, who does the editing, has found from different places on the internet. But yeah, I made the vast majority of the music.
So let's get into the music, man. The intro theme, you created that music, and you created all the music, but you didn't name it. So I did you a favor. I gave them all a name.
All right, thank you. What is this one? What is the intro?
This one is called Bout Time.
Bout Time. So this one created with, actually did it with Pilar, who's one of the writers and actors. She voices Peggy Breaker. She also designed the logo. This is way back in the early days when I was first trying to put it together, wanted some theme music. And one of the things that I like about it, or that, was kind of the goal, is I wanted it to have this super kind of cheesy, campy, silly kind of intro, and so that's that dun 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 dun, right, and then there's a little transition, and then it gets a little bit more kind of exciting. And so I think once the voices start in is when the kind of the rhythm gets a little picked up and it gets a little more exciting. So that's kind of what I was going for on that one.
So what's your process for creating a tune or a theme?
So a lot of times I'll go through, I'll kind of have an idea in mind of what I'm looking for, or kind of a loose picture, and then I'll just kind of go through the sample library and take a look and figure out which ones fit that best, and then do a lot of mixing and matching from there.
Now the next cut is a recent composition, and I call it janky. It reminds me of the 1990s New Jack Sound music genre. Did I say that right? Is it genre?
Genre? January? Nere?
This is janky. So Michael, tell us how many instruments do you play, man?
Oh man, how many do I play? Well is 0. I play behind me on my Zoom screen, you can see my bass guitar, electric guitar, and ukulele. I've also got over here, I've got a plastic trombone, which is surprisingly a better sound than you'd expect, and a mandolin. I've also got a drum set around here somewhere. I always love learning new instruments and learning how to play them and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't say that I'm great at any one in particular, but yeah.
Now the mandolin, isn't that a ye old instrument from
Ye old
Renaissance times or something? What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the history of it does go back to like real old school Italy. There's different kind of similar versions of it around the world, but yeah, it most folks in the U.S. probably know it as a bluegrass instrument. It's kind of the higher pitched. Yeah, it's the high. I guess. Yeah, the highest pitch along with the fiddle, maybe bluegrass instrument.
Okay, so tell us about coffee filters. Is that a sketch or?
Yeah.
Right? It's an investigative type. Okay.
Yeah. So coffee filters is kind of the ongoing Amanda Keaton thing, and it's a pretty direct spoof of Serial, which is an NPR podcast, but in our version, it takes just a really weird and bizarre turns. As you know, we start at the first episode, which I think was within like episode 3. It was the first time we hear coffee filters. Like this guy, it sounds like he just forgot to bring his lunch and he's blaming everybody else around him. But kind of as every like 4 Jollyville episodes we hear a coffee filters. And one of the things that's fun about that one is in the writer's room, we pass that one around. A lot of folks have bits that they like to write, but we specifically pass that one around to figure so that we kind of just take a bizarre turn on what's going to happen with Stan and the lasagna next. We don't know.
So the tune from that, the tune you composed is of course you named it the Coffee Filters theme, and I called it Inquire Within. Let's take a listen. How were you when you first started playing music, man?
Ooh, how old was I? So fun story. When I was a kid, I was pretty tone deaf. Like I couldn't really match pitches or anything like that with my voice, but I loved music. And so my parents got me started on drums because they were like, oh, he's tone deaf, but he likes music. So let's give him a drum over here. So a pair of drumsticks. And so I started on that maybe in like 5th grade or so, but then by the time, like shortly thereafter, I wanted to play string instruments, and my dad was a big guitar player, so I wanted to be able to play with him. So I got a mandolin because my 12-year-old or however old self was like, oh, a guitar, that's so passe. Everybody plays guitar. So like I decided to learn how to play mandolin. And what's crazy is that as soon as I was able to manipulate pitches with my hands and hear it that way instead of doing it through my voice, then all of a sudden everything clicked and I like understood how it worked and I could match pitch and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so the mandolin makes a reoccurrence.
Yeah. Mandolin comes back in the
Well, that was the first occurrence.
Yeah. No, we just talked about it being from Italy and stuff.
Yeah, but that was the first occurrence before we talked about it being in Italy.
Oh, okay.
Okay. History chats. Now that's a funny skit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when Emily Antonik tends to write those, and I think she does a fantastic job. It's fun. Yeah, that's where we get the historical figures to come on, and then everybody in Jollyville asks them like the wrong question, or something unexpected happens.
Right. So what type of mood were you trying to create with this tune? I call it keys, just keys.
Nice. Yeah. So this is kind of a quick one. We were trying to go for something along the lines of like an NPR, Terry Gross, this is fresh air. Like, so, one of those kind of a things. And so that's why it has this like really calming classical thing, is that to kind of set up that like, this is an interview. And then it just goes off the rails after that. So I think we'll do that a couple times of like kind of using the music to set the, your expectation of what it is. And then the skit just goes off from there.
So let's listen to that. The brothers Burfield. Is that really a comedy sketch or what is it really?
It's a great question. It's I think we have it as one of our kind of like spoof sponsors. But yeah, it's a soap opera show. But we are playing ads for the soap opera show, which happens on the Jollyville Public TV, which isn't real either. But named after Burfield is a friend of mine who lives in Vermont. Excuse me. So that's where that name comes from. But yeah, when I was writing, again, just looking through the old iTunes loops pack, and what it is it's a mix of, there's a strings bit, kind of a rhythmic string section, and then under that is percussion in like real like kind of what you call like toy box percussion of like a wood block and like some of that kind of stuff, and that I just wanted to add to that sense of goofy, dramatic, like over the top, like, brother, how could you, that kind of high intensity.
It's a real cool tune. I call it In the Shadows.
All right.
You have a couple of transition tunes in the mix. Is there a particular circumstance in an episode where you like to transition tune transition obviously?
Sure. Yeah, no, so a lot of it is when we're designing an episode, it's really helpful to have kind of like barriers between skits. I think it's helpful for just kind of the pacing and for the listener to realize that, the skit's over and then be ready for the next one. And a lot of times we use these for the station tags, like, this is Jimmy Pycross, you're listening to KJVR, Jollyville, like that kind of a thing. And what else is fun about that is that we can have other people do those. And so we've gotten other podcasters to kind of give a shout out, like a friend of mine did one for us that, this is Abby from the Lunatics Radio Hour podcast, you're listening to whatever. And sometimes we'll use that podcast's theme song. Sometimes we'll use one of these transition musics, but I think, it's definitely recognizable as a transition of like, oh, now we're going into the next thing.
So this is transition number 1, and we'll call it Getting It Done. Jabber theme, what I call cautiously optimistic. It's all strings like the Brothers Burfield, but with a different feel. I really like it. You see what I did there? Different feel, Burfield.
Nice. This one is this is another one that Emily tends to do. So the idea is this travel company. And sometimes they do really bizarre stuff. Like there was one where they're talking about like going to Transylvania and but Dracula shows up and kind of interrupts the ad. And then another one where somebody was talking about how they learned pronunciations of places, but they learned it wrong. They're like, I went to Lima in South America. It's like, Lima. But so that's a fun one. And we kind of get to play around with, going around the world or whatever with that one.
So what's the name of the skit? Is Jabber?
Yeah, it's another one kind of like Brothers Burfield, where it's not so much a skit as like a running joke ad. Yeah, okay. This travel, language learning company.
Now the second transition tune is Yawn and Stretch. It's a jazzy, I'm just chilling, sipping on a scotch, puffing on a nice Cuban, not concerned about the world kind of cut. What were you thinking?
Yeah, so the first transition one, the Getting It Done, is very like up tempo and like kind of high energy. And then this one is a little bit more chill. And so it kind of depends, I don't know, on the punchline. I don't know if I have a great way of explaining exactly when we pick which ones, but I like to use the higher energy one to come out of a higher energy skit. And I like this one to either come out of maybe not necessarily lower energy, but just calmer one or something like that, or otherwise just fit the vibe. Yeah. So America the Beautiful is the only one. Well, other than the Better Call intro, Better Call Paul, but that's not really anything. That's the one where I'm actually playing. So
The only one.
Yeah, where it's actually my handy. The rest is just like mix and match from GarageBand. But yeah, so America the Beautiful, which plays under the Paul Fredrickson voting ads that like we did through most of October and a little bit of September of like are you registered to vote? Yeah, so that's me playing snare drum, bass guitar, acoustic guitar, mandolin, like chords and rhythm, and then mandolin as the melody.
So here's the question: does it rival Jimi Hendrix's version?
Well, that was the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, my bad. But you get the point, right?
I get the question. I don't, I don't think I can quite live up to that, but I'm proud of it.
Okay, so we got one more tune, dude. And it's no secret, it's my favorite. It kicks in, right at the end of Community Beat, Jollyville Community Beat with UncleASAR. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
The segment that I host. And I think it's just the perfect tune, dude. I can listen to it over and over. The guitar sets it off. We talked about that. The keys come in and you just go into like this real smooth ride. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love it.
Oh, I'm glad you do.
So I guess that's about it, man. You know what I'm about to say, right?
What? Which song?
No, we're gonna play the song, but I have to say what I have to say before we play the song.
Oh, tell me what you gotta say.
Michael Crosa, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and we wish you the best. And we wish you the best of the best. Peace.
Peace. Oh, I'm singing it. I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't sing it.
Wait. Michael.
What?
I forgot to tell him the name of the song, what I gave it. You want to hear it?
Yeah. Yes.
The name is Joie de Vivre. It's French, dude.
Okay. What does it mean?
In English, it means enjoying life. Anyway, just play the music, man.